I've seen players in our league try to like toughen up Caitlyn. I know the talks that Phoenix had in the locker room of like, no, we're going to prove her, we're going to show her what the W really is. I'm like, what are people doing? It's just too much.
The WNBA has always been a stage for both athletic brilliance and raw emotion. But what happened after the Indiana Fever's playoff victory over the Atlanta Dream sent shockwaves across the league? Instead of post-game celebration, fans were left stunned as Sophie Cunningham found herself in the middle of a tense confrontation with security, an exchange that spiraled into headline news. What exactly did Sophie do? Why did her response shake the sports world so deeply? And what does this moment reveal about the WNBA itself? Let's break it down. This wasn't just a clueless guard overreacting, flexing authority in the wrong place at the wrong time. No, this moment peeled back the curtain on something deeper. A pattern. A troubling one the WNBA has shown before. Certain players, especially those who don't fit the league's polished, preferred image, end up facing far more scrutiny than others. And let's be real, the WNBA has a history of letting drama overshadow pure competition. When you view Sophie Cunningham stand off through that lens, it stops looking random. It looks targeted. What made it even more surreal was Sophie's response. Calm, steady, unshaken. She didn't lash out. She didn't fold. She locked in with that signature glare, the one fans know all too well, and refused to be intimidated by someone acting more like a hall monitor than a professional security guard. Here's why that mattered. This night should have been pure celebration. The Fever, despite being shorthanded, missing Caitlin Clark for stretches, Ari McDonald, Sydney Colson, Chloe Baby, Damaris Dantas, and even Sophie herself at times, still pulled off a dramatic playoff win. The energy inside the arena was electric. Fans were on their feet, players were hyped, adrenaline was pumping. And then came the disruption. Cameras captured Sophie, visibly sore and slowed by injury, suddenly confronted like she was a threat. No scuffle, no violation, no reason. Yet she was aggressively leaned on by a guard determined to create conflict. The optics were awful. Sophie's face told the entire story. First confusion, then irritation, then the glare that's become her trademark. That clip hit social media within minutes, and within an hour it was everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And the outrage was instant, not at Sophie, at the league, at the absurdity. Fans didn't see enforcement. They saw harassment. And just like that, the same frustrating narrative that's trailed Sophie for years came roaring back. Sophie Cunningham versus the narrative. How did Sophie Cunningham, one of the WNBA's most fearless competitors, end up branded the villain? Many fans believe the answer is simple. She doesn't play by the league's rules. She doesn't soften her personality. She doesn't hide her edge. Sophie speaks her mind, challenges narratives, and plays with unapologetic swagger. That's exactly why fans love her. Clips of her fire trend regularly on social media. Her highlights rack up millions of views. Her fanbase is loud, loyal, and one of the strongest in women's basketball, WNBA business metric. Sophie is good for the league. Yet instead of embracing her, the WNBA seems determined to frame her as a problem, a disruptor, a villain who refuses to fit their mold. And fans are calling it out. Twitter and Instagram lit up with accusations of double standards. Some pointed to culture and race, noting that if Angel Reese or Paige Buchers were in Sophie's shoes, the framing would have been different. Sophie's defiance was painted as negative, while others' similar fire would have been praised as leadership. Hashtags like #FreeSophie and #WNBExposed began trending within hours. The backlash wasn't quiet, it was deafening. And here's the kicker. Through it all, Sophie never escalated. She didn't scream. She didn't shove. She didn't create a scene. She simply stood her ground with composure that put the security guard to shame. That's why the video spread so fast. The drama wasn't her doing. It was built around her. The real question now. Will this force the WNBA to finally confront its double standards? Or will Sophie keep being cast as the league's villain? Connecting the dots to understand how we got here, you have to look at the bigger picture. Sophie's clash with security wasn't isolated. Take Dana Carrington's case. When referees claimed they felt uneasy around her, the league immediately issued statements. Security got involved. The players' union defended her. It was handled like a matter of fairness. Now, compare that to Sophie. No official statement. No union defense. No league backing. Just silence. The only support came from fans online calling out hypocrisy. That silence spoke volumes. This is bigger than one guard overstepping. It's about how the WNBA selectively chooses when to defend its players. And often, the ones who don't fit its carefully crafted image are left on an island. The Caitlin Clark parallel makes this even clearer. Since her rookie season, Clark has been hacked, shoved, taunted, and officials swallow their whistles. Fans see it. Clips go viral. And yet, the league shows little urgency to protect arguably its biggest star. Sophie's journey mirrors Clark's in a different way. She's long been painted as the villain, the agitator, the one fans are pushed to boo. Both players, though, bring exactly what the WNBA claims it wants: star power, personality, attention. And yet both are left exposed in different ways. The fallout this is why Sophie's confrontation matters. It's not just about one tense moment. It's about what that moment revealed. Instead of embracing her edge, the league once again tried to cast her as trouble. Instead of defending her professionalism, they stayed silent. And fans noticed. The viral outrage wasn't simply anger over a single clip. It was built on years of frustration. A pattern where outspoken or non-conforming players get scrutinized harder, punished harsher, and supported less. And that's why Sophie Cunningham's glare resonated so strongly. It wasn't just defiance toward a guard. It was defiance toward the entire narrative. A refusal to fold under a spotlight designed to cast her as the villain. What comes next? The question now is whether the WNBA can afford to keep mishandling stars like this. The league says it wants growth. It says it wants mainstream respect. But every time it allows drama like this to overshadow the game, it sabotages itself. Sophie Cunningham is a star. She trends. She sells. She draws fans in. And yet she's treated like baggage instead of an asset. The confrontation in Indiana wasn't just another viral moment. It was a mirror held up to the league's insecurities. Because if celebrating Sophie Cunningham's fire is seen as too risky, if protecting Caitlin Clark is somehow too controversial, then what exactly is the WNBA building toward? The fans are speaking loudly, and the league can't keep ignoring it. Until then, Sophie Cunningham remains what she's always been: fearless, unapologetic, and unshaken by whatever labels people throw her way. Whether the league chooses to embrace that or not is a different story. The WNBA has always been a showcase of athletic brilliance and raw emotion. But what unfolded after the Indiana Fever's victory over the Atlanta Dream wasn't just another highlight of postseason grit. It was a moment that exploded into controversy. At the center stood Sophie Cunningham, suddenly locked in a surreal standoff with arena security. Instead of fading into the background, she responded with the poise and bite that have defined her career. Within minutes, the confrontation went viral, sparking outrage, debate, and a familiar question. Why does this league keep targeting Sophie Cunningham? Let's be clear, this wasn't about a random security guard overstepping boundaries. Fans saw through that instantly. The incident revealed something deeper, a troubling pattern that has followed the league for years. Certain players, those who don't fit the WNBA's polished preferred image, are subject to scrutiny, marginalization, and treatment their peers never face. Sophie Cunningham, once again, became the lightning rod. What made the moment so striking wasn't just the confrontation itself, but the setting. This was supposed to be a celebration. The Fever had just secured a dramatic playoff when, despite missing key pieces of their rotation, the arena was electric, fans on their feet, adrenaline coursing, the kind of night every league dreams about marketing. Yet, instead of victory headlines, the story shifted to security treating Sophie like a threat. She was wearing a leg brace, barely able to sprint, and yet she was leaned on as if she were a danger. The optics were terrible. The timing worse. Sophie's reaction told the whole story. First confusion, then irritation. Finally, that unmistakable Cunningham glare, equal parts defiance and amusement. She never raised her voice, never escalated, never gave the league ammunition. But the cameras caught everything. And within minutes, the clip spread like wildfire. Fans didn't see enforcement, they saw harassment. They saw a pattern. Because this wasn't isolated. The WNBA has shown selective memory before. Obvious flagrant fouls against Caitlin Clark ignored. Angel Reese protected for far less. Different players, different narratives, depending on whether they fit the league's image. The selective outrage, the selective enforcement, it's chipped away at the WNBA's credibility season after season. And Cunningham's confrontation was just another example of a league failing to support its own stars. For Sophie, this wasn't new territory. She's been branded the league's villain for years. Why? Because she doesn't bend. She doesn't soften her personality or mask her emotions to fit the script. She's outspoken, fiery, unfiltered. And for that, she's been targeted by rival fans, critical media, and now it seems even by league staff. Yet, ironically, those very qualities make her marketable. Sophie is magnetic because she's real. She says what others tiptoe around. She plays with a fire that feels authentic. She trends on Twitter. Her clips rack up TikTok views. And her interviews generate more conversation than players the league deliberately pushes. And yet, she's rarely in league promos. Rarely spotlighted. Rarely celebrated. Instead, she's treated as an afterthought until controversy puts her front and center. Then, instead of being framed as a passionate competitor, she's painted as a problem. Fans see the hypocrisy. When Angel Reese gets chippy, it's swagger. When Sophie does, it's villainy. When Paige Buecher shows fire, it's leadership. When Sophie shows it, it's unsportsmanlike. Those double standards are impossible to ignore. The fallout after this latest incident wasn't subtle. It was immediate and deafening. Fans swarmed comment sections across Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Hashtags like #FreeSophie and #WNBExposed began trending within hours. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert bore the brunt of the criticism, with fans blasting her leadership as the most embarrassing in professional sports. Some even called for her resignation. The message was clear. Fans are tired of the league creating drama instead of celebrating basketball. And here lies the league's fatal irony. Clips that dominate social media aren't buzzer beaters or miracle shots. They're moments of league dysfunction. Players harassed, marginalized, or left unprotected. Casual fans who tuned in to see Caitlin Clark's historic rookie season or Indiana's unlikely playoff fight ended up watching Sophie Cunningham clash with a glorified mall cop. To outsiders, it looked like a league obsessed with controversy instead of competition. That perception